Welcome to Ties That Bind, Law, Family, and Legacy.
Welcome back to Ties That Bind, Law, Family, and Legacy with Patti Garner. Patti is a Tennessee attorney who focuses on estate planning, probate, and divorce, helping individuals and families make clear, thoughtful decisions about the future and avoid unnecessary complications down the road. With over 20 years of legal experience, she brings a straightforward, practical approach to these conversations. I'm Shameika Rhymes, and today we're talking about how to update your estate plan after divorce, remarriage, or other major life changes. Welcome back, Patti.
Yeah, good to see you, Shameika. Thank you.
Well, Patti, how often do you see estate plans that no longer match someone's current life situation?
Oh wow, we see that regularly and it's difficult because, especially if they've waited too late and somebody's passed and it's too late to do anything about it. I know you mentioned something about updating the estate plan after a divorce, and that is absolutely the perfect time to do it. I know when we send out our final decrees for divorce, that is absolutely something we encourage people to do is, hey guys, you need to take a look at your estate plan. This is the perfect time to update the will or the trust or whatever your circumstances are. Or if you don't have something in place, this is the time to put something in place because, let's review life and see where we're at and check out this new season that we're in.
What are the key life events that should immediately trigger someone to revisit their estate plan?
That's a great question. I would say um, weddings, deaths, births, acquisition of businesses, acquisitions of real estate. Those are probably the top 5. There's a lot of other reasons, but those would be my top 5 reasons that should trigger you to immediately go, "Oh, I need to talk to the estate planning attorney and figure out what I need to do to protect X, Y, and Z."
So I don't know why, but like adoption or something like that, would that be another thing if you decided?
It absolutely would. I guess I would consider that in the birth
Okay.
category.
Well, what can you mentioned that when somebody should update their estate plan and when once they get that divorce decree, but what can actually happen if someone goes through a divorce and they never update their estate plan?
Hmm. So if you don't have the right language in your final decree of divorce, and you have a last will and testament that's in place, it is possible that your ex would inherit under your estate if the right language is not in the final decree and the protection is not there with the updated estate plan. It's possible that your ex gets the house or the car or whatever you had left them originally.
Is that the case if you don't have an estate plan and you still go through a divorce?
Um, it could be. It would depend on, if there is no will or trust, and then you have a divorce, and the divorce would be enough to foreclose it. So if there is no estate plan, then that would not be the case. But if there was an old and outdated plan, it could be.
Okay. Well, how does remarriage change estate planning decisions, especially when there are children from a prior relationship?
Ooh, that one gets tricky. Um, I think it changes the dynamic for the way that the parents would handle their distributions. Do we want let's say we have people who remarry, they both have children from another marriage. Um, they put a trust in place, and then as you're doing that, you have to walk through the scenarios. Do we want what happens if we get a divorce? Do we want the trust to remain in place? Do we want, if wife number 2 dies, do we want to put something in place so that husband can't write her children out of her part of the estate? I think you do. Um, I think it's important that we contemplate all the things that could go wrong, and that's kind of what we get. That's what kind of what we get to do. So I kind of feel like I'm negative Nancy on the regular because I'm like, oh, but what if this and what if that? And but that's what we do, and that's how we design plans, and that's how we protect the future, so that that kind of stuff doesn't happen.
Have you ever had a situation where there's and I was just watching something on TV, which is what brings us to mind, where they may be on their, say, their fourth or fifth marriage. Um, what case, what happens at that point if they still haven't updated their estate plan?
Well, it really goes back to what the original plan says. I mean, it's tough to even contemplate that without having some facts. Married multiple times, no estate plan or no updated plan. Wife number one really still could get the farm.
Well, where do you see people make mistakes when they just try to update things on their own?
Oh, so in one of our other episodes, I think we talked about the daughter from California coming in on an estate. So in that particular instance, mom and dad had gotten on LegalZoom and tried to create a will, but they didn't actually finalize it. So, whatever effort you're going to take, what I would say is be sure you sign it. Be sure you do it the way that it's supposed to be done. In Tennessee, you got to have a notary and you got to have two witnesses, and it needs to be signed in person. There's a whole lot of rules that go along with it and regulation. And I know it seems real stuffy and it seems real unpleasant to talk about it. It took me years to get my own husband to talk about how we do the estate plan. So I get it. But it's one of those things where it just really needs to be done. If you're going to protect the people that you love and the people that you care about and the people that you want to have your stuff, then take the time, take the 2 hours out of your day for once every 3 years and please sign and do what needs to be done to protect them. They will appreciate it so much more. You will have such a peace of mind about knowing that it's done. It is really worthwhile.
You mentioned that it has to be signed and notarized, but I know now I feel like negative Nancy. I'm like, but what if?
What if we did
But
this?
what if um, there's a house buyer and there hasn't been a chance to sign and get it notarized, and then that person dies? Then what happens?
So in that circumstance, they either have died without a will
Mhm.
or they've died under the terms of their last will or trust.
Okay. Well, how do beneficiary designations on accounts or insurance policies come into play, and why do those cause problems if they're not updated?
So if you simply rely on the paid on death, which is what I think what you're talking about,
Mhm.
so for bank accounts and that kind of thing, those pass outside of estates. So if I die and I have a paid on death to Uncle Sammy down the road, Uncle Sammy can go down to the bank with my death certificate and they will pay him the money that's in that bank account. Well, if I didn't really mean for Uncle Sammy to get that money, then I needed to have that paid either to the person I wanted it to be paid to or paid to my estate so that my estate, um, my administrator or my trustee could get a hold of that money and take care of it and direct it the way that I wanted it to. A lot of times people will open bank accounts and they'll hold those bank accounts 15, 20 years and they never go back and look at who they created to be the beneficiary.
Mhm.
And so I think that's problematic. I think it's really crucial that people take a look at those kind of things and to do that on a regular basis. Again, 3 to 5 years is kind of what the recommendation is. And I think that's a great recommendation that everybody should follow up.
I feel called out right now, so I'm gonna make sure I do that on Monday.
I'm sorry.
Definitely. But it's a great reminder, and I think those listening will find it as a great reminder too to check those beneficiary designations as well.
Yeah.
Well, what does it look like to get everything properly updated so there are no gaps or conflicts between documents?
Well, I think the key to that is to meet with an estate planning attorney who has the knowledge of what documents you need. So I believe everybody needs at least a will and a power of attorney. It would be great if they would go the next step and do a medical power of attorney so that somebody can make medical decisions. I believe that you should also include in there a conservator in those power of attorneys so that in the event I have a stroke and fall out and can't decide whether I'm, coming or going or whatever, then somebody has the ability to make that decision without having to file a complaint with the probate court and get somebody named as conservator so that they can decide what they're doing with me. Because I can't make heads or tails out of what I'm supposed to be doing. So I think that's the way, and for me, that's kind of my love language. And I think that's how you show you take care of your people.
Mhm.
Because, I don't want them to have that stress. I don't want them to have to be in a frantic. They're going to be freaked out enough because I've had a stroke. They certainly don't need to be thinking about, oh, who's the legal person I need to go talk to so I can have the power to make the decision to take care of mom the way that she needs to be taken care of. So I think you meet with the estate planning attorney. You say, these are the things I'm concerned about, or this is my life and this is my stuff, and this is kind of what I want to do with it, and let them help you guide and plan so that you know what the next appropriate steps are, so that you know that you have the right documents.
I think that's great advice. This has been so informative, Patty. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's always good to see you, Shamika. And don't forget to go to the bank on Monday.
I'm going to put it on my phone. So I hadn't put a sticky note like on the door. So I have to see it.
Okay, great.
Well, that's it for today's episode of Ties That Bind Law, Family, and Legacy with Patti Garner. If you have questions about your own estate plan or you want to make sure you're making the right decisions for your family, you can reach out to Patti Garner at Garner Law Firm by visiting pattybgarner.com. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like, subscribe to the show, and leave a review if you found this episode helpful.
Y'all give me a call and let's plan your legacy.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and leave us a review in the comments.